Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Technopark Toastmasters Club. I welcome you to meeting number 46 of Technopark Toastmasters. My name is Arati and I will perform the duty of Sergeant at Arms today, stepping in for Prakash, who could not join today. Let me remind you of the mission of Toastmasters Club. Toastmasters Club, as we all know, is an international non-profitable organization started by Ralph C. Medley to promote public speaking. The mission of any Toastmasters Club is to provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop their communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Let me remind you of the ground rules that we will follow during the meeting. Please refrain from making any reference to religion, politics, and sex while you are speaking. Please turn off all the noise-making devices and keep yourself in mute if you're not speaking. And avoid crosstalks when someone is speaking. I welcome you once again to the 46th meeting of Technopark Toastmasters. Now, the next activity is inviting the president of the club to address the meeting. As I invite myself, let me wish you all a very good meeting. I'm sure that we have a difference in meeting today because one of our Mavelis is going to be our Toastmaster of the day. She's putting in a special appearance by all persuasion by a VP education to do the Toastmaster of the day. We also have a few guests who are attending the meeting as role players, and we also have another guest, an HR from Quest, to check out how Toastmasters is happening. So I welcome you all and let us get into the meeting of the day. So today's Toastmaster of the day is the energetic and happy-go-lucky Toastmaster Bhavana. Now, Bhavana is a multifaceted person. You can see her performing Kathak on stage. You can see her writing poetry, reciting poetry in Hindi, and she has got an awesome voice. That's the few things that you would notice. At work, she is into corporate branding and communications, and she's a long timer with IBS in Technopark. Let's put our hands together and welcome Bhavana as Toastmaster of the day to take this meeting forward.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Arati. I would break into a Kathak performance right now with all the kind of introduction you've given about me. Thank you so much for that. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Thank you very much for making it to the 46th meeting of the Technopark Toastmasters Club. We take a lot of things for granted, don't we? Like I took Toastmasters meeting for granted all this while, and I'm sorry to say that, but I haven't attended as many as I should have. I promised my things that we take for granted. Perhaps this mother's love, I would say. Yesterday, incidentally, was World Earth Day, and I thought probably Mother Earth is the second most taken for granted in our lives. Like we hardly take, except when it is for a World Earth Day or something like that, that we celebrate, that we stop and check what we are doing for the Mother Earth. So we take a lot of things for granted, something that we like, something that serves our purpose, is easy to access, free of cost, and not contested by anyone, I would say, are the ones we tend to make ours and take it for granted. You're all part of...
Your video is off.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You had a drop in your network, and then is it for everyone? No. Yeah, you're back. Sorry to interrupt. Please carry
on. Am I audible?
Yep.
Am I audible, Arti?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Okay. So I was saying that we take a lot of things for granted, and all of us who work in the IT industry, we live in the digital era where information, content, creatives are so easily accessible at the click of a button, making copying or plagiarizing as easy as breathing fresh air. We see a nice picture out there on the internet, a nice quote, and we use it as if we own it. We use it in our write-ups. We think that we know it and it's ours when you find it very commonly available on the online. So very rarely people acknowledge the author, not knowing the amount of hard work and talent that might have gone behind making that particular piece of work worth copying by us. I'm reminded of an incident, like at my workplace, we have this daily newsletter and we invite shutterbugs in the office to send in their photography entries and with a short description of where it was taken, or what is the technology or the lens or the camera used for taking those pictures if it is a macro photography, so that we can feature it in the daily newsletter. So once I received a very beautiful macro photography, it was so beautiful, I was floored. I immediately reached out to the photographer, the person who sent the entry, and asked her, what camera and lens have you used to click this picture? And what comes the answer? Wow, it was a nice picture I saw in Google Images, and I picked it up and I sent it. And I was like, the facepalm moment, that then they thought that maybe the way we had presented that bit, inviting photographs from people itself was wrong. We rewrote it, made it really clear that it has to be clicked by you and not by someone else out there who has done a lot of traveling perhaps and a lot of research on this, a lot of learning and studying, and maybe have clicked those images. So we rewrote the piece, inviting entries, removing all ambiguity, so that such inadvertent plagiarism, because this person was very innocent, didn't know that you cannot do this. So such inadvertent plagiarism does not occur again. So we rewrote all those things. And for your information, today is World English Language Day observed by UN. So rewriting pieces so that it communicates rightly to people is also a part of language and communication. So I thought I'd just bring that up as well to you. Today is also World Book and Copyright Day. And we thought, why not use this meeting as a gentle reminder to each of us the need to honor and protect the creations of innovative minds out there in the world. Most often people engage in copyright infringement inadvertently, not realizing how unethical it is to call someone else's work as our own and not attributing it to the author or the creator. Ownership of every output that has time, money, effort, and perhaps creative intellect invested in it resides with the author or the creator, which we all know. Most often when we don't know the author, we think it's all right to copy, but to copy it right, even when one doesn't know who the author is or who to reach and seek permission to do so, we must give due credits and quite visibly so, at least not own it as our own. So that's a bit of gyan about copyright. I'm sure everyone on this call know it, but then we often tend to miss it out when we are in the hurry picking up something from the internet and publishing it. So without further ado, stopping my gyan on copyrights and introducing you to a fantastic team of role players over here. My team has someone who needs no introduction, at least in this group, who is taking the role of general evaluator today, Toastmaster Arati. Even then, because we have a few guests, I will do the introduction. Arati needs no introduction actually here, and I'm a Toastmaster since 2013. She's a dual member, charter president of Technopark Toastmasters Club, and is also a member of Trivandrum Toastmasters Club. She's working as a general manager in Suntech, leading its industry product team. Her areas of interest are public speaking, yoga, arts, and crafts. The fitness freak that she is, she scares me on social media by posting her exercise routine and things like that. And it sweats me out by merely looking at her social media posts and without doing any exercise myself. So let me welcome Aarti to introduce her role and the wonderful tag team she has.
Thank you, Bhavana, for that sweet introduction. As a general evaluator, I will be responsible for reviewing the meeting, observing the meeting, and making notes about how we conduct a meeting with a view of providing feedback to all of us, because we say feedback is what keeps us going. It's the breakfast of champions, and we all are here to be champions in leadership and communication. So I've put together a team, a last minute putting together, because we had some personal emergencies and fallouts today. So I have a team of people. Together, we will be watching the proceedings of the meeting today. And my role players today are, they're called very sweetly the tag team, the timer, our counter, and the grammarian. Timer for the day is a surprise to the timer herself. Timer for the day is going to be Smita. Smita, thank you for responding to my nudge of being the timer at the last minute possible. Would you be able to explain your role?
I can, Aarti. That was a surprise. I just came to know. Okay, thank you, Toastmaster Aarti. Dear guests and fellow Toastmasters, as a timer, my role today will be to remind everybody of how much time they spent on their speech today and ensure that we run this meeting on. Here is what I'm going to do to remind you of your time. Luckily, I have icebreaker speech should be between 4 to 6 minutes in length. At 4 minutes, I will raise the green card. At 5 minutes, I will raise the yellow card, and I will raise the red card at 6 minutes. That means your time is up and you will have to wrap up ASAP. The individual evaluations should be between 2 and 3 minutes. Again, 2 minutes, it will be the green card. 2 minutes, 30 seconds, the yellow card, and 3 minutes, it will be the red card. For table topics, the speakers should limit their speech to 2 minutes. 1 minute, it will be a green card. 1 minute, 30 seconds, the yellow one, and 2 minutes, it will be the red card raised by me. And for all your speeches, you will get a grace period of 30 seconds to wind up all your speeches. And the red card will remain displayed until you finish and hand over the control back to the next speaker. Thank you, and back to you, General Evaluator Toastmaster Aarti.
Oh my God. Thank you, Smita. I think you are the most prepared, unprepared timer or any role player that I've seen. You just pulled out the cards like from your magic hat and you had a great script. Wow. I'm impressed. Thank you for being the timer at short notice. We had a guest, a Toastmaster, who said would join, but could not reach the person. So thank you for stepping in instead of her. The next role is an R counter and a grammarian rolled up into one. We have a senior manager from Infoblocks, a very dedicated professional, as well as a very committed traveler and a family man. May I welcome Toastmaster Manu Solomon as the R counter and grammarian, and to explain his dual roles.
Thanks, Toastmaster Aarti. So yeah, I'll be doing a dual role for today. Let me first explain what the R counter role is. Now, for the purpose of the R counter role is to note words and sounds that are used as crunch and pause fillers by anyone who speaks. So during the meeting, I will listen for overused words like well, but, so, you know. I will also listen to filler sounds like I will also note down speakers who would repeat words like I, or this means, right? That's the purpose of the R counter. Now, coming to the grammarian, as a grammarian, it's my responsibility to pay close attention to all the speakers, listening carefully to their language usage. I'll take note of any improper language as well as any outstanding words or phrases or quotes that anyone talks about. As a grammarian, it's also my responsibility to introduce the word of the day So the word of the day is inadvertent. The meaning is unintentional, done by accident, without being intended. An example usage would be all authors need to be wary of inadvertent copying of other people's ideas. So I think that matches our theme for the day as well. So end of the meeting, I'll come back with my report for both the R-counter as well as the grammarian. Thank you.
Thank you, Manu, for stepping in with your additional role of the grammarian. If you could paste the word and its meaning in the chat, it would help. All right. And let me also reiterate what Manu said. The aim of having a word of the day is to make sure that we all use the word of the day and take it into our vocabulary. Now, after all these specific role players have explained their role, let me also tell you there's a general evaluator. I would be evaluating the whole meeting and will be providing a feedback. We would be back after all the sessions are over and we would conduct the evaluation session. With that, I hand over the control back to the Toastmaster of the day to continue with the meeting. All the best to you, and back to you, Bhavana.
Thank you, Toastmaster Arati. Thank you so much, Smita, for stepping in as a timer and for those cards beautifully made in such short notice. And thank you so much, Manu, for taking the dual role today. As you all would have taken note in the poster that we circulated, we have a speech today by Toastmaster Rajeshwari Sridevi. Toastmaster Disha Jaiswal has kindly consented to evaluate Toastmaster Rajeshwari's speech today. Toastmaster Disha Jaiswal. She is currently the Area E3 Director of Toastmasters International. She works as an HR strategist in an investment banking firm during the weekdays, a happiness and positive psychology coach during the weekends, a full-time dreamer, an ardent fan of drama, and someone for whom music is life. There's a lot of common things, Disha. Toastmaster Disha, welcome to our club meeting. May I request you to say a few words on the objectives you have set for the evaluation?
Thank you so much, Bhavana. So the objective of my target speaker today, Rajeshwari, is to introduce herself to the club and at the same time understand the basic framework of speech drafting. That is the objective. Timer, please note that the timing for her speech is from 4 to 6 minutes. And I wish all the very best to Rajeshwari. Kid it. Back to Bhavana.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Disha. Rajeshwari Sridevi, our speaker of the day, is not just a senior technical architect at Suntech, but is a trained yoga teacher, a passionate cook. She joined the Technopark Toastmasters Club very recently, and I'm told that she has always been enthusiastic in taking up roles and table topic speeches frequently. Join me in welcoming Rajeshwari to give her speech. Toastmasters Rajeshwari, what are you cooking today? What are you cooking today? By Toastmaster Rajeshwari.
TMOD, fellow Toastmasters, esteemed guests, raise your hand if you are a foodie. Thank you. That's nice. So I'm also a foodie. Just like I love to eat food, I love to cook as well. Food is an extension of the person preparing it, isn't it? Nothing brings people together like good food. All my childhood memories are about the delicious traditional food my grandmother used to make. She had magic in her hands. The yummy unniyapams, the awesome sadhya, the crispy muruk, and the world-class fish fry, whatnot she used to make. I still have the taste in my mouth. Food can certainly act as a medicine for whatever ails you. The actual act of cooking is therapeutic than the meal itself. Also, a home-cooked meal is always safer and healthier compared to the store-bought ones, isn't it? What do I cook? It can be a simple mango shake, to cupcakes with frosting, cheesy pizzas with minimal veggies, just like my daughter wants it, chocolate donuts, KFC-style fried chicken, or our common favorite, pani puri. I love trying out new dishes. I keep a bucket list where I can keep a track of all the items I have seen in a cookery show or in some random YouTube channels, or maybe I read in a magazine, or it can be something I ate at a restaurant and I write it thoroughly. My official travels have also paved the way for trying out dishes across the globe. I love eating Thai, Mexican, Chinese, Mediterranean, and Italian dishes. I always try out special dishes of the place wherever I go. So we are IT people, right? So our days are uncertain with calls shooting over time, trying to meet deadlines by extending the day, and likewise. So let me share with you a few tips that you can follow to manage cooking during the busy schedule like I do. So plan and brace yourself for the week. List out the items you want to do over the week in mind and prepare the list of groceries required for the same. Make batter like dosa, idli, appam batters at home during the weekend and keep it in batches stored in the fridge. You may also stock up half-cooked chapatis or batters if it is an emergency and you don't have time over the weekend as well. But as you know, it will have preservatives. So don't rely on that every time. You may also keep non-veg items cleaned and marinated in the fridge, which can help you during the weekdays. I like preparing ginger garlic paste over the weekend and I keep it in the fridge so that I can use it over the weekday cooking, which will help me to reduce the preparation time. And you can stock up, items like bread, egg, oats, cornflakes, fresh or dry fruits, which you can use on a days where you can't even think about making a proper meal during your busy schedule. You may also invest in good utensils, kitchen aids like choppers and blenders, slicers, which also help in reducing the overall time taken for preparing food. And also, I would recommend to include healthy sprout salads in your meal to reduce the intake of carbs, also keeps you fuller for a longer time. Nothing like a healthy meal, isn't it? So have a balanced diet. And last but not the least, prepare more servings during the weekend. Whatever you make during the weekend, for example, if you're making sambar, prepare in a bit higher quantity so that you can store it for the next 2 days and use it the next day. So I normally make idlis in the morning, Monday morning. So I already have sambar. So it's just a matter of making idlis, So during the weekday, you can just use up those extra cooked curries stored in batches and then make some stir fries in a jiffy and serve to the family along with the healthy salads. And what I do over the weekends is I bake and I try new dishes, like new cuisines, which I feel like having. And I normally post it on Instagram handle as well. Also, we have this group of friends formed a WhatsApp group from the office who like cooking. So we keep on sharing our recipes or whatever we made, and we motivate each other to cook, basically. That's so that keeps us motivated to try out new things, and the happiness of sharing also helps us do it. So earlier it was considered to be a woman's job to cook. It was completely a woman's sport. But now things are changing thanks to the new generation men who are very considerate. I know a lot of people who are husbands who help their wives in the kitchen, and young boys who you accompany mothers and help them in cooking. So that's a great relief for the women altogether, because we all are working, right? And also when we are working from home, it is very hard. So everybody is lacking time. So if we come together and cook, that will be a great effort together. It will be a good relief or like good time spent with the family as well. So I personally try to have a meal, at least one meal a day with everybody together in the table. And we try to have the meal discussing whatever happened during the day or whatever we are working on, things at office. And while we relish the dishes, we discuss all the things around the globe, and we should always appreciate the hands who made the food whenever we have it. There's a lot of effort going behind the cooking, which happens in your home. And if you haven't started cooking, I would highly recommend it. I find it very therapeutic. And whenever I am stressed out at home or I have a busy work schedule, when I prepare a proper meal or when I make something tasty, I feel more relaxed. It's kind of meditative for me. So if you are interested, but you don't know how to do, you can go to the YouTube, search for simple videos. Since we have Google and YouTube now, we can always rely on them. Yeah. So thank you. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Rajeshwari. Not a great time, 11:30 to 12, to listen about so much of food. Unniyappa, murukku, pani puri, got my mouth watering. Thank you for that. Next, we move to the most interesting session of the day, table topics, where we all have an opportunity to try our extempo speaking. And today we have Toastmaster again as a topics master. Again, works as a compliance engineer at Hubble in INC and is currently presiding the Hubble India Cochin Toastmasters Club. Again is a very energetic Toastmaster who readily agreed to taking up this table topics master role at a very short notice. Over to you, Toastmaster again.
Thank you, Toastmaster Bhavana. I believe I am audible.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. And I believe you are not distracted with the reflection from my head. Okay, so before moving to the table topic session, can you hear me? Because I am wondering.
Yeah, I mean, it's breaking a bit. I can hear you now, but it's breaking in between. Please continue. I think now you're on.
Okay, let me switch off my camera. Okay, so I believe right now I am audible.
Yes, you're audible.
Okay, so before going to the topic, let me share a small of my experience about the theme of the day, copyright or copying right. The first time I heard this question, whether this is a copied product or this is a copied word, was during my college days when I submitted one of my assignments. We all know that how we submit assignments in college. We will just copy someone's work, write it down, and submit. And unfortunately, when my professor, when he asked me, is this a copied word? I was surprised how to answer because I deliberately copied my friend's work. But I answered him, sir, this is not a copied. Yeah, definitely I referred my friend's work. And if you find any similarity in between these words, it is pure accidental. It's not a copied work. It is my own unique work. So I personally believe that if you were trying to copy someone's work, then you will need to put some extra effort or extra creativity to add some flavors to the original one to make it really unique for ourselves. So with that being said, today I have 5 topics for table topics. Definitely it will be aligned to the theme of the day. Normally in my club, when we have this table topic session, people will please don't call me, please don't call me. And we won't be able to reject that offer because all of them, they are our colleagues. We will have to meet them every day. But fortunately, today, I don't have to take that consideration because I'm totally new to this club. So if I believe if no one is ready to volunteer, I can definitely have that freedom to call anyone with their names. So, do we have a volunteer for our first topic? Or should I start from the first one itself? Okay, so I see a Toastmaster and is ready for the first topic. So, the first topic is the first time you copied something in your life. The first time you copied something in your life.
Thank you, Toastmaster, Table Topics Master, again for that wonderful topic. When Bhavana was talking about plagiarism of creative work like photography, etc., I thought, okay, I'm neat. I have never done that. But when you started talking about assignments, I wasn't very sure. Took me back to my engineering days when you turn up in the college to find out that it was the last day +1 of submitting your assignments, and you've definitely copied it. And like you said, it's really tough because you have to be creative to make it look like it was not a copied document. So inadvertently, everyone who has gone through engineering and any professional course would have done a copywriting. But I would also like to recall a happy incident, at least for me, when my creative assignment was copied by multiple people in the class. So I submitted my assignment, got it back. Somebody else took it, rubbed away the mark and submitted again. Not caught, very good. A third person went over smart and submitted it again. Now this time the sir caught him and asked him to keep the paper there and ask the others to bring their assignment once more back. So then I was in a spot because I couldn't resubmit my assignment. So then somehow the person raised his hands and said, okay, it's his fault. And so, of course, I got a little less on my assignment because I helped, helped with the crime. But at that time, it was okay. We would have depended on a lot of people while writing our exams also to find out how to solve problems. And I have always had the problem, my name starting at A, I would be the first person in the roll number and I would be sitting facing a wall. So copying was out of question. Thank you for this wonderful question, and back to you again.
Thank you, Aruthi. Yeah, in fact, always people whose names start with A, they find it really tough for copying. I too face that problem because we will have to submit the assignments first. We will have to submit our answer sheets first, and the chance of copy is really limited to us. Yeah, what to do? So moving to the second topic, again, do we have a volunteer?
Again, I can volunteer.
Yeah, thank you. So the topic is, if you have to copy something, how will you make it unique? Repeat, if you have to copy something, how will you make it unique?
Okay. Yeah, thank you. So I was going through my college days when Arati just explained how she did the assignment and submitted, the friends submitted it and all. So the topic given to me aligns with something I and my friends did during my college days. So there was this programming subject called Java. It was called object-oriented programming. So the teacher has given us a programming assignment where we'll have to do the program by ourselves and take the screenshot of the screen and make a document and make it submit it digitally. So what we did was everyone there will be a brilliant guy who is good with computers and all in every class. So we went to that guy and asked him to help us. So he shared the code with us. Next thing what I did was went copy that code and the code to my system, and I started replacing the variable's name. That is very easy to do in Microsoft Word. You have to find the word and replace it. So first thing I did was I changed all the variable name. Then the system name, there would be, if you're using a terminal, there will be the name of the system, and after that the username and all will be there. And then I changed that and changed the font entirely, increased the font, and made some creative changes to the total code. And I made some spaces in between so that the number of pages will increase, and I submitted. The next thing was my friends also came to me to ask me to create some copies for them. I did the same, change the variables, change the font, change the alignment and all. Then I made like 15 copies that day and gave them. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashley. So you proved that you are a master in copying.
Yeah,
okay,
sometimes.
Yeah, Toastmasters, I believe why we feel comfortable talking about this topic is because we could easily relate this to an incident. Definitely, we all had at least once in our life, probably during our college or school days. So, again, do we have a third volunteer? Yeah, thank you, madam. Toastmaster Manu, the topic is: do you think copying needs more creativity? Repeat. Do you think copying needs more creativity? Over to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you again. So yes, I do think so. I think the creativity part is where when somebody does not recognize it as a copied material, right? So the person has done a lot of work, put a lot of creativity to make that as a unique thing, right? Or even something better. Now in the music industry, we know that copying is there. There are a lot of old songs or musics which are taken, and then people have improved that into something that is more enjoyable, right? So that's what I would say creativity at its peak, right? So the original music might not have been that good, but the copied or the new versions are even better. So that's one the best thing that I can say from a creativity perspective. Another aspect that I can tell about the copying part, right? I'm somebody who believes that okay, if you take an idea from something and then use your creativity to do something, I think that is fine. There are no issues with doing that. But you should not take word for word copy and paste it somewhere else. That's what I feel. Over to you again.
Thank you, man. Yeah, that's a real point because what I used to do during my college days was when my professor or when my lecturer asked us to prepare an assignment, uh, I will prepare two copies because one will be my the copy which I will be submitting, and the other one will be for my friends to copy. Because else what will happen is all the 50 copies will look like the same because no one will put that extra effort to at least change one is or one and or something like that. So I will give a copy to my friends and submit another copy to my professors to be in the safe side because else all the 50 assignments will be rejected and we will again have to rework. Yeah, and thanks, Manu. Okay, so do we have a volunteer for the fourth topic?
Disha has raised.
Yeah, thank you, Disha. So the topic is, does technology helps in reducing or does it facilitate copying? Repeat. Does technology helps in reducing or does it facilitate copying? How about you, Toastmaster Disha?
Technology has almost aided all the things that once upon a time used to manage.
Disha, your voice is a little low. Could you speak up?
Is one.
Is my voice audible now?
Super.
Okay. So technology until now has always aided us. Be it as simple thing as pulling up chain, as simple thing as carrying some weights, or even if it has to do with copying. Now the question lies, has it really facilitated or has it increased the number of people copying? Definitely no. Because I believe people who want to copy will copy at any cost. And that is one such, and this conclusion I have drawn from during my MBA days. Now, irrespective of how much ever you study, you don't study, how much ever, you are pre-informed about an exam being held, if a person wants to copy, copies, will copy irrespective of how much ever time you give him to study, or the only thing that he would be doing is wasting his time. It is as simple as people will do what they want to do irrespective of the help, the facilitation that they get. Now just imagine what would happen if there was no copy and copy paste function. Do you think there would be any less copying in the kind of assignments that the students complete? Do you think there would be any less copying when it comes to submitting your journals for PhD? I don't think so. So technology has by far aided everything, but we cannot only blame technology for facilitating copying. I believe it is more of a mindset than the aids which are used to facilitate the same. That was my time. Thank you, Toastmaster Ajit.
Thank you, Disha. But my personal opinion is technology has made copying very tougher.
Your voice is breaking again.
Before that, that someone had already made that kind of tough.
Again, your voice was breaking when you were speaking. I think we have lost again. Arti, should we wait for a minute or so? Hi again.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't know what happens to my Wi-Fi.
Your audio, we lost you for a bit.
Yeah, my connection turned off. I don't know why. Okay, so we will move to the last topic. So do we have a volunteer?
Yes, Rashmi, would you want to volunteer? Try it out. You can speak for 2 minutes for any topic that he gives.
Sure, I'll try.
Yeah, sure. So Rashmi, the topic is it lack of creativity or laziness which force people to copy someone's work? Repeat. Is it lack of creativity or laziness which force people to copy someone's work?
Okay. Thanks again. In my opinion, I think it is most of the times laziness that drives people to do copying. Maybe because we are like doing a lot of things at the same time. Personally speaking, I end up doing multiple things at the same time, and sometimes even for the deadlines that I have to meet, I quickly end up calling my team and getting things sorted. And I have seen that my team members also end up taking things maybe from the internet, from some research papers, and they submit whatever the plan or proposal that needs to be put together. So sometimes it can be laziness, but also maybe because that we are doing so many things at the same time in this very fast-paced world that we don't have enough time to spend, think, and create our own solutions that makes us do all this copying. Back to you again. Thanks.
Thanks, Rashmi. So from definitely all this experience, we could conclude that copying, it could never be stopped. And there is nothing, I don't think that there's nothing wrong in copying, provided we could add at least a small contribution from our side to make it looks unique. And with that, we will wind up the top table topic session, and over to you, TMOD Toastmaster Bhavana.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster, again. Each of those questions that you picked up for the tabletop races was a lot of discussion around it. Great to have those things, and it would be great to have, discuss on, debate on some of those things that we spoke here. Each and every speaker did a wonderful job. Thank you, everyone, for making this session very engaging. May I now request the General Evaluator, Toastmaster Aruti, to present the feedback to the participants.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the Day, Bhavana. We had a very engaging session so far, very interesting session so far. Now let's get into the learning part of Toastmasters, the best part where we get feedback for things that we were not aware of our way of speaking. So let's start with a feedback for the speaker today. And we had Rajeshwari delivering her very first speech. Can I ask the timer, Smita, to specify how Rajeshwari did on her timing?
Rajeshwari took 7 minutes and 45 seconds, which was over her allowed limit of 6 minutes. She went over by 1 minute and 45 seconds.
All right. Thank you. Now, may I invite our very smart evaluator, Disha. I met Disha during the district council meet at Bangalore, and we shared a room and we have shared a bond ever since. I'm so happy that Disha took up this opportunity to come here and evaluate one of our newbie Toastmasters. We appreciate your time. Over to you, Disha, for your feedback on the icebreaker.
Thank you so much. But before I begin with my evaluation, I would just want to know that Aarti has been the coolest roommate ever. I mean, I don't know. She's one such person that I have, like, we just met during the DOTP, and the kind of person that she is, it's just too adorable. So thank you so much, Aarti. And here I begin with my evaluation. First of all, I would want to congratulate Toastmaster Rajeshwari to actually complete her icebreaker. Can you please have a round of applause for her? Unmute and we could do that. Thank you so much. We always say that it is easier to go from 1 to 100. But you know what's more difficult? It is difficult to go from 0 to 1. That is to take the first step. And I think you have done it in a brilliant way. Going ahead, my evaluation will be divided into 2 parts. 1, things you have extremely well done. And 2nd, things wherein if you could put a little more effort, it could take your speech to the next level. So for the first part, the things that you've done brilliantly well. Did all of us get excited when we heard, "What are you cooking today?" Isn't it one such title that took all our attention? And that is one of the most, that is one feature of a very good speaker, to attract the attention of the audience. And I think you did it brilliantly. Second thing, the title, the concept of food and how we could, help, because we all love food, don't we? Food is one thing that unites us. If religion is something that separates us, I think food is one thing that unites all of us. So very well done on selection of the topic and the title, because it was intriguing to all of us. During the entire course of your speeches, there were certain situations wherein, you mentioned about how we always have time crunch when it comes to preparing home cooked food and how we could do better. So that is something that you have done extremely well. Coming to the points where you could have, if there would be a little change, I believe it would take your speech to the next level. Because this was your icebreaker speech, your objective was to introduce yourself. So what you could have told is your love for food and how food has united you. We all have had incidences wherein probably if you had a fight with your mother and your mother cooks like delicious food, you forget all the fight, you forget all the anger. I think you could bring in some, emotions of human emotions into the speech, which would help you connect with the audience on a larger level. Secondly, if you could incorporate a little more speech related to you and food, it could be anything about how food helps you or how it helps you distress. It would have added, like a cherry to your cake. So that is one thing. And last and the final, one suggestion that I would have, whenever you're giving a speech, I know it is an online mode, but if you could have stood up, because the kind of view we could see on the Zoom, we were restricted to only your face. So at least if you could have like the first, like the upper part of your body, so that we could understand your hand gestures, we could understand your body language. Because like I believe speech is not just delivery, is the talking delivery. It is also the delivery of your body language, your facial expressions. So if added, just like, you add little spices of all kind to your food, it makes your food go to the next level. Similarly, if you could have these certain points, it would have taken your speech to the next level. All the very best for your future speeches, and congratulations on completing your icebreaker. Back to Toastmaster Aarti.
Thank you, Disha, for such a positive and motivating feedback. I appreciate that and great experience. Now let us get into the rest of the evaluation. Can I call upon the timer now, Smita, to share her timer's report?
Thank you. Thank you, Aarti. I do have it ready. Just give me 1 second. I can quickly share my screen if you give me. Can you all see my screen?
It's coming up. Yes.
Okay. I do not have Bhavana's timing because at that point of time, I did not know I was going to be the timer. So speaker, Rajeshwari, as I mentioned a bit earlier, she used up 7 minutes, 45 seconds for her speech. Evaluator Disha went slightly over by about 15 seconds. So 3 minutes, 15 seconds was the time taken by Disha. Over to table topic sessions, we had 6 speakers, and well within the time where Manu, Disha and Rashmi, 1 minute, 18 seconds, 1 minute, 45 seconds, and 1 minute, 3 seconds. Aarti and Ashik went slightly over by 9 and 13 seconds respectively. That's all from me. Over to you, Toastmaster Aarti.
Yeah. Thank you, Smita. Actually, we get 30 seconds grace period for all the speakers, not just the timed speakers. So even Disha and all the table topics speakers are eligible for that 30 seconds. So after 30 seconds. So we have overshot, but we are still qualified.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you so much for meticulously doing the timing. And, I felt really bad when you said you couldn't time Bhavana because I did not let you know. Thank you.
No worries.
All right. Now let us move on to the next role player, that is the R counter and grammarian. Toastmaster Manu, can we have the report from you?
Yes. Let me share my screen. So from an R counter perspective, Ashik had a lot of and There were a lot of times in which so was used. In some instances, it was fine, but in some, I felt that it could have been avoided. And all came in at least 3 times, and all those instances, it could have been avoided. Rajeshwari also had a lot of and so was used. Was used at least 3 times, and was also used 3 times. There were some instances where and was fine, but there were some instances where it could have been avoided. Rashmi had just one and there was one like. So that's the R counter report. Now, from a grammarian perspective, the usage of in the word of the day was very less today. Even I didn't use it in my speech, but Bhavana and Arati did use it once when they were talking. When coming to good usages, Ajin used facilitate, and Rajeshwari during her icebreaker speech, she used phrases like magic in her hands, therapeutic, and bucket list. Overall, it was good to see a lot of usages, but I think we should try to use the word of the day more by everyone. And there were some people who did not speak, so I did not evaluate them.
All right. Thank you, Manu, for doing your dual role. So double the listening attention that you would have had to put in. Thank you so much for meticulously capturing that as well. As a general evaluator, behind the scene, I know the struggle that Shruti went through to put together his meeting, lots of backouts and some inconveniences today. Yet we did fairly well in conducting the meeting. A glitch, I would say, something for us to learn is when the meeting started, I did not realize that the timer had not joined. That is why we had the last minute rush. The TMOD and the facilitator of the meeting, the president in that case, should have ensured that all the role players were available in the networking time. The 5 minutes that we had at the beginning, we should have made sure that they were there and had a backup plan. So I think we can make a note of that the networking should be used to do the audio video check of all the role players. That should cover everything. The Toastmaster of the day took a wonderful topic, very apt for the week, very apt for the day, and she converted it into something that we could all relate to, bringing it to the workplace, and finally it naturally went into our college and how we would have done copywriting, violations when it went to the table topics. So table topics and the theme of the day were very well weaved together. Good job there, Toastmaster of the day and the table topics master. The choice of the word of the day was also good. It was a very good word, able to be used well, but inadvertently none of us used it. It is our mind block that when we tell us that we have to use it, it will never come out. But so I think we should make a note that we should use it. Our counter and the grammarian all rolled into one. You did a good job. I think what we can do is we can stress, especially for guest speakers, this would be a very important feedback, because when and how much ever we practice, the our counter's role is, according to me, the best feedback you will get. When you make more and more speeches and your comfort level increases, your tension of presenting the topic would go away. But then it is at that point you should listen and take feedback on your R's, because your R's are like applying brakes in your speech. Takes away the beauty of your speech. So very important feedback on our counters report. We should all accept it and make a note of it and keep improving. We should have a self-assessment. Table topics, great topics aligned with the theme, and we had a good participation from guests, seasoned Toastmasters, as well as our club members. So it was good. And I like the way that Ajin had instances to add to each of these topics. Now, the speech today, Rajeshwari, good job. Your first speech, I've heard you talk about architectural design in Suntech, giving points 1, 2, 3. Today you did the same, giving points on cooking 1, 2, 3. That I wondered whether you're an architect at Suntech or a master chef here, but you've done a great job. Good job on your first speech. And I love the way that Disha evaluated it. She had very positive feedback. One of the things that I had noticed that as a icebreaker speech, the audience should be able to know you better once you have done your speech. So this will be more focused on you. And I love the way that she put across the objective of the speech and connected it to your speech and said that how you could incorporate it. And that also tells us every speech that we do, please run it with your mentor. Your mentor will be assigned by the VP Education, who will help you find this gap before you present the meeting. So reach out for your VP Ed and ask for your speech to be reviewed so that you will get tips on how to do that. And I like the part where Disha said that it's easy to go from 1 to 100, but to get from 0 to 1 is the tough part. Every one of us here who has been asked to do a speech and had put in some resistance, we really know that 0 to 1 to do a speech is the toughest part. So congratulations, Rajeshwari, on taking up your icebreaker in the limited time that we gave you. So overall, it's been a nice and sweet meeting. We did have great quality speeches wherever we had it. And I really appreciate the guest speakers guest Toastmasters who came in, Disha and Ajin, for coming in. With that, I end my general evaluator's speech and give it back to you, Toastmaster Bhavana, for winding up your session.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Aarti. Every Toastmasters meeting is a great learning experience for me. This is my second time as TMOD. And I'm almost starting a fresh kind of, new learning. And like you rightly said, we should have used the first 5 minutes perhaps to see whether people are there, the role players are available, and we could have done a better job. So everything is a new learning and will be better next time, and won't delay it further. We'll be back soon. With that, we come to the end of a wonderful session. I hope you all enjoyed the session as much as I enjoyed hosting it. Over to you, President Aarti, to formally close the event.
Thank you. A round of applause to Bhavana for taking up the role of Toastmaster of the Day and bringing in a different, interesting topic and bringing in a different perspective to that. Thank you so much for making this meeting very different and thoughtful. Now, let me take feedback from our guests here today. Can I have Disha and Ajin give feedback on Technopark Toastmasters Club meetings? Maybe we can start with Disha.
All right. So first of all, thank you so much for hosting me and for letting me be a part of Techno. Like, I want to thank all of you all. So one thing that I would want to mention is I've been traveling, and trust me, there hasn't been 1 minute that my attention has, been diverted to any other thing. And I really, really love the topic that the Toastmaster of the Day has selected. I think, I was not able to think of like I have been a Toastmaster for like 3 to 4 years now, and I haven't seen topics like this, which are so intriguing, which is something that we all should ponder upon, right? So lovely. I really and thoroughly enjoyed my time here. If I have to give one small suggestion is, and this is something that even I am working on in my home club, is to make sure that we have unique role takers. I understand that there are moments where, there are like a few superheroes who take multiple roles, but this is something that, like I said, I'm practicing in my home club, is allowing more and more unique role players so that all the members of the club are equally engaged during the meeting. So I think that is one thing. But apart from that, I really loved the topics master of the day. The topic master. He had a feedback for every role. Like, that is a part of active listening, which does not happen in most of the clubs that I have been through. So that is the kind of nitty-gritty attention that has been given, and a wonderful outcome. Thank you so much for having me here, and all the very best. Also, I would want to invite all of you all to Wordsworth Toastmasters. We have meeting on every Sunday from 9 to 11. So in case you want to enjoy or add the wow factor to your Sunday mornings, do join our club. At least as a guest, I'm not taking up members from here, but that's it. Thank you so much, and back to you, Aarti.
Thank you, Toastmaster Disha, for joining and extending the invite to your club. We would definitely like to explore and watch you. And we are wishing you all the best in your Toastmaster leadership journey. All the best to you, Disha. And again, Ajin.
Yeah, thanks, Natalie. Thanks for the invitation. And it's really my pleasure to be part of this meeting. And since I am presiding over our club, I know how difficult it will be to set up a meeting, especially to get the role players. And from my personal experience, what I understand is, unfortunately or fortunately, people who are really passionate about Toastmasters, they're unfortunately scattered in different clubs. Because the last time when we tried to conduct a meeting itself, we had this shortage of role players. And that time, when we sent out invitations to other clubs, people from other clubs came to our help, and they took that roles with much ease. So I think this combined meetings or joint meetings, it will be a great opportunity for aspirant Toastmasters from different clubs to come together and club together, and they could have that continuing polishing of the speaking skills and the communication skills. So this is definitely a good way which we should focus on scheduling more joint meetings, which will help every Toastmasters get some opportunity to speak. And regarding the meeting, it was really comfortable. It was really worth spending time with you guys. And all the best for your club. And we do have meetings, and definitely I will share the invitations with you as well. Unfortunately, we meet on every Thursdays from 3 to 4 p.m. So I don't know how you could manage in between your work, but we are also considering to reschedule the time. And anyhow, I will send the invitation next time. And thanks for invitation, and all the best to everyone over here. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much again for sharing that. We appreciate the feedback. Yes, you can also relate to how difficult it is to get to role players. We started off with unique role players actually for this meeting. We had everything set up as of yesterday, but then we had some unplanned personal emergencies and we had to manage. And one of the things we do to manage this is some of us will not take a role until the last minute. So we wait for others to take up roles and then finally end up playing the super person, trying to manage more roles. Thank you so much, but we should bring that into our way of planning. We will do that. Now, can we hear from Reshmi on her feedback? It's the first time that she's checking out a Toastmaster meeting. She's heard a lot about it and she wants to probably explore what is it in it for her organization as well. Over to you, Reshmi, to get your quick feedback in a minute or two.
Thanks, Arati, and everyone for this great session today. As Arati said, this is my first time being part of a Toastmaster session. I've, of course, heard a lot about the Technopark Toastmasters Club from Radhika, and she has been nudging me to kind of get this implemented at Quest. Really like the format of the session, the roles that are assigned, the way Manu kept the details of whether people are repeating words, whether people are using those words which we typically do, right? Like and all that. And really like the concept of the timer, which Smita did. So it was a great session and learning for me personally today. So thanks for extending the invitation, Arati. I'll connect with you to see how we can implement it at Quest.
Thank you so much. I hope that we can do that and spread the message to lots of people so that they can benefit from it in their professional life. So that's all. Radhika, so happy to see you after a break. I know that you're still on a break. I hope you're well and glad that you could sign in though you did not get an opportunity to speak today.
Thank you, Arti. I couldn't miss this opportunity to listen in, especially when my favorite Bhavana is the Toastmaster of the day, and it has been good listening in, and probably I'll come back stronger next week.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Rashmi, Manu, Rajeshwari, brilliant show.
Thank you so much.
I really like the collaboration, Disha and Agin joining in. It's a great opportunity also for us to expand and then really learn from each other. Thank you.
Absolutely. I think to take it to the next step, we should also go and visit a different Toastmaster meeting, get out of our comfort zone of our meeting and participate. With that, I thank everyone. We are ahead of time by 13 minutes. I'm returning 13 minutes to your Saturday. Please take it and do something really great. Rajeshwari is going to run and make some nice pastry for her kid, and I'm going to binge watch on some Netflix. With that, sign off. I formally declare the meeting 46 a success and close this. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.